So it seems after all the trolling and all the commotion, all the sneaker SO leakage and everything else, and yes, I did have a completely different video prepared today. All the drama that was created by the ponies to try and destabilize the situation and create, confusion and drama. It turns out that based on this update from Xbox, which is an official statement, we are actively investing in our future first party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. Now, today over at Boom Stream, I said I wanted a comment by Xbox saying our team is building it. That is what I was looking for, and they have delivered on that comment. In fact, I'm pretty sure they were watching Boom's stream and listening to me. So I'm going to take full credit for this 100% because it is exactly what I wanted verbatim, and that's exactly what they gave. Go check out Boom Stream. It's all in there. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD. So there you have it. But the drama that unfolded today was actually quite crazy. So let's have the drop and we can get into it. So earlier today, you had Tim Dog causing trouble yet again. The beloved ex who just can't stay away and can't stop stirring crap. In fact, he heard this all the way back from February, he says, and that it was a done deal. But hey, what can I say? I was right. At least if you watched my original take on this video, I would be right. But here is the revised version for you guys anyway. And Tim Dog over here it says Xbox is out of hardware. Sorry guys, love all that community and everyone who made it special. I came back on because of the news. Judson Althoff is pulling the plug on the hardware. I guess they have let him there to do the uncomfortable things that Satya couldn't. Regardless, I knew this would be the result in February 2024. I feel it's funny that we are at this point. Always thought I would see Xbox Beta. So he was 100% adamant that Xbox is gone. And in fact, he came back to social media just to deliver the bad news and gloat. We've got Insider Gaming over here with the rumor. The future of Xbox is software publishing, as next Xbox console generation faces doubt. And there's basically a whole post in there basically about what we're seeing here. Now it says, according to extremely reliable Xbox leaker Sneaker SO, new Xbox hardware might not be happening despite what they've already announced. He also says Microsoft is now 100% a third-party publisher, and the new home for platform will now be Xbox Cloud. Now, I've always said that Xbox Cloud is the end game, and that is where they want to go, and that is why they're building their war chest. Now, before we get into this, it's quite interesting that he says, for those wondering, Tom Warren of The Verge is letting everyone know Sneakers SO is a legit source and knows what they're talking about. Just to confirm, Tom Warren did come out and call MBG a liar and full of crap, and he said nothing like that at all. So MBG, once again, just making up information to make himself look more credible. But it's interesting, but we kind of need to know what this is all about. So the Sneakers SO says, without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be coming in Q1 26, by the way, which I kind of expect anyway, to be fair, with the way things are going. And it's going to be just as massive as the last one. That's debatable, but it is a big company. So rumblings out of Xbox started coming out. That's were a little hard to believe. The ramifications of the COD Game Pass Gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. Now, here's the thing. With Microsoft not being able to use Call of Duty the way they wanted to use it, they've had no control. They can't give an extra skin, they can't give an extra game mode, they can't give an extra map, they can't do anything with Call of Duty. In fact, they couldn't even advertise Call of Duty on their official channels because the FTC said no. The FTC basically said you have to release this game on parity with no marketing on any platform, on Xbox at all. Nothing to make a consumer want to buy an Xbox. That's crazy, right? They spent 70 billion on this company and they can't even use it the way they wanted. However, it's perfectly fine for PlayStation to have skins, maps, anything. In fact, if the game was running better on Xbox than it did on PlayStation, Microsoft would be fined. That's how, anal the FTC and Lena Khan was about this. So Microsoft, in my honest opinion, should have just left Game Pass out of Call of Duty out of Game Pass because it just served no purpose being there. Sure, they made a bit of money off someone like me who wouldn't have played it in the first place or bought it because I got the Vault edition, which gave me early access and some stuff. But other than that, I wouldn't have bothered with it. COD has never been my thing. So, you know, I can live without it. So I think they made a mistake there. Anyway, really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling given that this thing was meant to be out relatively soon. It was one of those situations where, despite folks being told, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the lead up to delivering a new console gen weren't being met. Lots of things that were sure things started getting pushed. The Costco retailer pulling Xbox, and apparently they are one of many that we'll learn about soon, told me all I need to know. Now, essentially, what he's talking about here is Costco pulled Xbox Series hardware. That's really not surprising. Sam's has now also put them on a massive sale. You can get it for like $270 for the Series X. But apparently, Walmart is next also. So there is some truth to this. However, as we now know, the majority of what he's saying here is full of lies. And my original assumption, well, the original thread that I read where this came from, where it said he's basing all of this on the fact that Costco pulled out, may just be true. To sum it up, the future of Xbox is software publishing with a significantly honed in focus on profitable IPs. COD, WoW, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Forza Horizon. Cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access, which will continue to drive its price tag higher, by the way. They aren't done there yet, just yet, either. And releasing the software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. And he goes on basically, a lot of this is just basically fake news. And it's unbelievable how the internet jumped all over this. To be fair, I was questioning it myself and whatnot, but the way the PlayStation community was jeering and cheering and just lapping this up like a victory lap, not fully well understanding what the ramifications of a no Xbox gaming industry would look like. How pathetic is this community? But it's just it blows your mind. Microsoft might not be in a position where they can actually do real competitive stuff, but they're still there, and that's something that's going to be nagging on Sony's mind all the time. Imagine that not being there. Sony's already one of the most anti-consumer companies next to Nintendo. Can you imagine how they would be without any form of check in place? I know the FTC would definitely support them, but that's not a gaming world that I want to be a part of. Then you've got Trips over here. Dude is a mercenary hired specifically to kill Xbox hardware. Insane. I bet if he's gonna have like all egg yolk over his face. And it says Judson Althoff was recently promoted to CEO of Microsoft's commercial business, which includes the Xbox division. I've now heard that it doesn't actually include the Xbox division, so that needs to be confirmed. But it's crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. But of course, then we have this over here, which followed up with the bad news, which kind of added on to it. With today's Xbox greed, is that they confirmed they nuked DLC discounts for Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. Now you earn points instead of now you earn reward points from DLC purchases instead of points that you get to use those currencies to buy Microsoft gift cards and get what you want. However, there is a yearly cap. Now, obviously, Michael over here, Legs to Killer HD, is also, lying to get some clicks. which he's saying make-believe currency that is only redeemable on select items. That's a lie as well, because the whole purpose of this is to redeem it with gift cards, which you can then use on the store to buy whatever you want. So, I mean, there's no need to lie about this stupid thing like this, Michael. It's just making you look more pathetic. But here we have the official Microsoft response. And this is an update. Microsoft has provided the following statement echoing our previous report. And Jez Corden said that there was no there's no truth to this matter. Everyone laughed at Jez, but here is Microsoft officially releasing a statement, which reads, Microsoft has provided the following statement. Echoing our previous report, we are actively investing in our first-party console and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. Now, this over here sends a a massive statement out there that the next generation Xbox, regardless of what leaks come now, what rumors come now, no one needs to believe it. It's all rubbish, because Microsoft are now actively investing in their next future first-party console and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. You've got the ponies running around right now making video after video after video, and you've seen them posting tweets after tweets after tweets. The whole lot of them. The whole stables came out in full force today. I swear they must be on some kind of private Discord, right? Where they all congregated together, was ready to roll out this news all one at a time. And they managed to do it and make themselves look stupid in the process. The whole lot of them. You can't make this up. But I love the fact that Microsoft came out and produced the comment that I personally was waiting for. Now, obviously, people are saying, at least for now, and that's no longer relevant to me. Now, you can see over here, I can confirm via very trusted sources that this isn't true, at least for now. But that at least for now qualifier is the real problem. So that's what Jez Corden said before this update came in. But this update now removes any form of doubt in my mind that the next generation hardware is going to be here, and it is a first-party console. No matter how people want to describe it, how people want to look at it, Microsoft is saying that they are actively investing in their future first-party consoles and devices design. So we're getting more than one console, right? We are actively investing in our future first-party consoles. So we are going to get a Series S and X equivalent. That's big, right? This is big, big news. And devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. So this is exactly the information that Microsoft needed to get out there to bring back some faith, to bring back some confidence. And kudos to Microsoft for doing that. This is exactly what we were after. In Boom Stream today, like I said earlier, this is exactly what I need. I need Microsoft to come out and say, we are building a first-party console made by Microsoft. Because the wording is very important. The February business update that they did was very, very wordplay, and it deceived everyone. There is no gray area here. When they say we are actively investing in our future, first-party consoles is a plural, and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. That means that there is future first-party consoles coming, and they are not out of the console business. To all you ponies out there that were celebrating and cheering, egg on your face, bro. I mean, this also didn't make sense considering Forza Horizon 6 was going to be exclusive to Xbox for what, a year, 6 months? Who knows how long? But it's timed exclusivity, and it's going to be there. There's also news about Returnal basically being scrapped, as we see here, but I don't know how much truth there is in this. It is by Detective Seeds. He says Returnal port to Xbox Series consoles was scrapped last week. There is a playable version of it, he understands, but he's not sure why it was scrapped. I just don't believe that. And obviously, here's what the guy was referring to with Sam's Club basically putting the consoles on sale. And I guess this is where he was deriving his information from. But one thing we know for sure is that Microsoft is here and they have finally come out with a statement that we are looking for to say, we are building the next generation Xbox console. It's happening. No need to worry. Don't listen to the bullshit out there. We are here to stay, and the next generation console is alive and kicking, and you'll have more news in due course. That's amazing, folks. That's the type of news we wanted to hear to drive up some more momentum. Now, the problem that we have here is that, I think if we go back to Jez's article, the problem that we have here is this part here. But that, at least for now, qualifier is a real problem. How can we know that will be true next quarter? Let's put aside for a minute the fact that Xbox Game Pass remains a primary driver of revenue and is more prolific on Xbox console than hardware. That's not entirely true. Xbox made, I think it was about 20 billion on games and services. Game Pass only made 5 billion of that. So 75% came from DLC and game sales. It's not the primary driver by any means. So I don't really know where they're getting that it's the primary driver from. If you look at the latest financial earnings, it only equated to 25%. A quarter is still a quarter, right? But it's still only equated to 25% of the 75% of the 100% pie. Let's put that aside. The fact that Xbox Cloud Gaming is restricted by location and is expensive to run, combine that with the fact that it's the same silicon you could give people their own cloud natively in their house and get them to use their own electricity to power it. Like a console. It doesn't make a lot of sense on paper, but regardless, that's where we're at. Now, the problem I'm finding with all of this is that any slight rumor is capable of unhinging and dismantling and dislodging any faith that the Xbox community have in Microsoft. And that's a big problem. That shows that a lot of people have lost trust, faith in the way Microsoft and the Xbox division is actually run, the way it's actually handled. And Microsoft has a lot to do in regaining that trust, that faith, and that commitment from their loyal fans. And their fans have been loyal, make no mistake. For the past 10 years, they've been with them since the Xbox One era. So they've been with them for way longer than that, right? The worst generation possible was the Xbox One, and they stood by them. So they deserve better. I understand this is a business, but there is a quid pro quo there. But at the same time, at least they did the minimum that they can and didn't go into hiding like me and Boom was scared of. They came out and said, even if it is a PR statement and it isn't one of them coming out and making a formal statement, they still sent out a statement, and that proves intent. Microsoft has provided the following statement, echoing our previous reports. We are actively investing in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. And for me, that is all I need to know to stay committed. As long as they are building the hardware and they are investing in first-party consoles, that's insane. That is absolutely exactly what I wanted to hear. Right, folks, that's the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. This is great news for Xbox fans. Hopefully this will give you the boost you needed to go into next week, and hopefully this will brighten up the end of your week. All right, folks, love to see your comments below. Let's see if we can get 100, maybe 200 likes for this video. Come on, it's great news. We haven't had good news for a long time on Xbox. So let's see if we can get that going. All right, folks, peace out and remain legend.